Rise and Shine on Australia's Vision Christian Radio.
You're on Rise and Shine with Phil and Matt.
And we're praising God because Tony Davenport from the newsroom has come on down for our Tuesday Good News with Tony. How you doing?
I'm doing very, very well, and I'm praising God that I'm here for another day.
Oh, we're all praising God for that. That's a good one. But have you got something for us this morning?
Yes, there's a couple of big events happening around the world at the moment, and I think we need to pray for both of them.
Good idea.
One is the American presidential election with Joe Biden he's just left.
Amazing,
so what happens now? We have to really, this is the most important country in the world for our freedoms, basically.
That's right, yeah.
And so this is why we should all be praying for them.
Yes.
And on Friday, the Olympics starts. And I really feel to pray for the Olympics.
Yeah.
I don't know why. I just have something in my head. And
There's a lot of people doing evangelism over there as well.
Yeah, there is a lot, and they need a lot of evangelism. But just because France is in a bit of a mess at the moment, it doesn't have a government that's stable or anything like that. And it's had past bad events happening. So let's pray that the Olympics go really, really smoothly. Even though it's a bit of a sport as an idol type thing, let's pray that evangelism changes that as well.
Wonderful.
Amen.
Anyway, let's go back to America. Now, we're looking at possibly Kamala Harris challenging Donald Trump. And it's going to be interesting to see what that happens. But that's bad news for Christians because Kamala Harris is very, very pro-abortion. And that's been the main thing she's been beating on about for the last 4 years. And the danger is if that she was elected, not saying that she will be, that they could bring back the Roe versus Wade thing.
Wow.
And that would just be catastrophic for the pro-life activism in America. So that's one reason that Christians need to be very wary of who the Democrats put up. There's no guarantee that Kamala Harris will be the nominee, but she makes the most sense because of all the funds that have been raised for the Biden-Harris campaign, they can go straight to her, but they cannot go to a third candidate. So that would mean campaigning, they would have to raise $1 billion in funding just for 3 months to raise the profile of any other candidate. And that could be very, very tricky.
Well, that's I didn't realise that was a rule. So the funds that have been fundraised for the campaign have to be used by either one of those two candidates.
And that's one of the strange Democrat Party rules.
Right.
And that's what makes it sensible that they go for Kamala Harris. And she does meet a lot of the diversity qualifications. Her father is Jamaican. Her mother is Indian. She went to a French-speaking school in Canada. She's married to a Jewish guy. So she ticks a lot of the boxes from the diversity point of view. But whether that's going to appeal to across Americans as an alternative to Donald Trump, I just don't know.
Just back on the pro-life thing, I remember going years ago to Sacramento to a stadium for an event called The Call. There was 15,000 young people there worshipping and praying, and one of the big things they were praying was for an end to abortion in the US. And this was like 15 years ago when it was not likely,
Yes.
And they've been praying and interceding for many, many years. And then when Roe versus Wade changed, that was a massive answer to prayer.
Absolutely.
So there's obviously a spiritual battle going on over this topic too.
Yes, there is. And in California, they need to keep praying.
Yeah.
All those Christians need to keep praying. And there's a lot of them in California, but it's still a very woke state.
Yeah.
Because people are leaving California, Christians and non-Christians. Just last week, we had California pass a new law which said that schools do not have to tell parents of children with some gender dysphoria issues. They may think that they're, a different gender or whatever. Schools do not have to tell the parents about that. That is the law. And that's, there's outrage from parents' rights groups and people like that. But that prompted the billionaire businessman, he's not a Christian, but Elon Musk said, I'm getting out of California. I'm going to take my headquarters out of San Francisco for X and Los Angeles for the SpaceX base, and I'm going to move it to Texas.
Wow.
So a lot of people are leaving California, like Kirk Cameron and his sister Candace Cameron Bure. Two Christian actors. They're both gone to Tennessee because it's a good Christian state.
Well, it sounds like a lot to pray about, and always good to have that idea that thankfully there's no time or distance in the Spirit, and so we can pray and be involved in the Spirit there as well. Well, Tony, I'm sure you've got lots more for us. Will you stick around?
Absolutely.
Okay, we'll have more from Tony real soon here on Vision. And joining us in the studio, dancing around with us, is Tony from the Vision News team.
You wouldn't pick it, but quite the dance moves there, Tony.
Yes, I'm pretty cool on the dance moves.
Now, we just played some Lauren Daigle because she's been in prison. Tell us what's happened. This is breaking news.
It is breaking news, but it's actually happened a couple of months ago. But her video of her preaching in prison and singing in prison is going viral.
Wow.
No, like a few months ago, she went inside this women's prison in Oklahoma, and she just was nice and cool and relaxed and just sang "Hold On to Me" and "Rescue Me," and the women in there were just overwhelmed. They were in tears. They were just radiant with their smiles. And she did a really, you can see it on video. I posted this on the website. She really got the crowd on side, and she gave them hope.
Yeah,
and she spoke about giving them hope, and it was so good to see. She even said that one of my favourite places to sing was in prison.
Wow.
The only thing is she hasn't really performed very much in prison, but she did go to the one that Johnny Cash went to, Folsom in California, and spoke to the women's facility there as well. So people like her have a remarkable impression on these prisoners who need a bit of hope and need a bit of a future to look forward to, and she was giving them that. And while we're on the prison ministries, she was taken into this prison by the Prison Fellowship, and that evolved into the Prison Fellowship International, and they have a really ambitious project to reach 700,000 inmates across the world in 70 countries in the next 5 years. And they have a couple of programs called, I think one's called The Listener's Way and the other is called Promise Path. And the Listener's Way is to reach them with an audio or video Bible version of the Gospel of Luke. And they want to get that into all the prisons all over the world, 70 countries. It's quite amazing. But their other project is with called Promise Path. And that seeks to reach the families, especially the children of prisoners, and ensure that they don't fall into crime like the parents did, and really put them on a good educational pathway to a good and hopeful life.
I just love prison ministry, and I just think of that Bible verse. I was hungry, you didn't feed me. I was thirsty, you didn't give me a drink. I was naked, you didn't clothe me. I was in prison, and you didn't visit me. It's such an important thing to respond to those words of Jesus and care for those who are inside. And I know there's lots of people that listen to Vision who are in prison, and also a lot of them read the Word for Today in prisons as well. So it's a big part of our focus here as a ministry as well.
And Lauren spoke to the women prisoners, and she read from Jeremiah 31. "This is the covenant I will make with the people of Israel. I will forgive their wickedness and will remember their sins no more."
Oh, good.
And words like that just give her hope. She said, "I feel a true sense of freedom when singing in prison."
How amazing is that? So encouraging. Tony, thank you so much for coming in and encouraging us again. I always love what you bring, and thank you to the Vision team. If you want to read more about that, but many other stories, you can jump onto the vision.org.au website, click read, and you'll see Tony and everybody's stories on there. Tony, thank you so much. We'll see you next week.
See you then.
Thanks, mate. God bless.
Thanks for taking time to listen to this audio on demand from Vision Christian Media. To find out more about us, go to vision.org.au.